Hope Chapel, Huntington Beach, turned 90 years young recently. The congregation, faithful, supporters, and well-wishers expanded on the day's milestone event to include Pastor Paul's wedding anniversary to Ainsley Harmon. And it was Ainsley's birthday. The happy trifecta was on full display with an eye toward the longevity of the iconic church on Lake Street.
On the history, really in 1925, when two young girls, twin girls out of Bible college, started really to reach a community here that even in the newspapers that we have, they were told, don't come to Huntington Beach, that's an oil town, and you are women, you'll never make it. And their words were that, well, with God all things are possible. So we really value that courageous pioneer aspect of the young ladies that started here. And with that, naturally, the Foursquare movement, this is a Foursquare church, was founded by a single mother. Her name was Amy Simple McPherson. And that church, that we could say the mother church, is still in Echo Park, Los Angeles today.
And it's an amazing church, and it's always been intersected with the city. For a while, the city used to have both Christmas parade as well as a 4th of July parade. And in those days, both the Christmas parade and the 4th of July parade would go right in front of our building here, right down Lake Street. And so they would do it on Sunday morning. It would close the church down. So we would all come and line the streets and cheer the parade on and tell everybody there was a church for anyone who wanted to be present.
It's a great place. I've been here going for a long time, 20 plus years. It's a great place to worship. It's a great family, great atmosphere here. So,
Mayor Del Glaze recognized the church's place in history.
In closing, I just want to leave you with this fitting quote for today. It says, in excitement of today, may the joy that knows no bounds be upon us all. May the joy of the Lord never be absent from this church now and forever. Happy church anniversary.
So many changes dotting the landscape of Southern California. To know there's been a constant place of worship for over 90 years brings many comfort and, of course, hope.
Pray. Father, we thank you.
In Huntington Beach. For Surf City Highlights, this is Matt Liffering.
We are back. So Read Across America here at Peterson was the last big social regular event we got to do prior to lockdown. And we went into lockdown the following week, 2 years ago. So this is our first big social event that we have been able to pull off this year now that protocols are relaxing and numbers are headed in the right direction.
But literacy is key to success in the world at large.
So it's just, Peterson is such a special community in and of itself, and it really is a strain when you don't get to be together in person.
First event back all in person with the kids and having people on campus, which has been modernized, which is really exciting. Being in person, it's a completely different energy. It's everyone together. They're paired up with student ambassadors that take them and get them around the campus. We take a large group photo. The kinders were able to sing for all of our readers. Yeah, it's amazing.
Betty and Billy brought Walter home from the dog pound. Nobody wanted him, said Billy. But we love him, says Betty. Well, he smells awful, said their mother. I think you'd better give him a bath.
There was no answer. I was just about to go home without a cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. That's when my nose started to itch. I felt sneeze coming on. And I huffed. And I snuffed. And I sneezed a great sneeze.
Even though he was the smartest warrior in all the land, he was also sad because no one could outwit him. He set out across the Dusk Mountain to find his match, and there he met a large, square monster.
So if you want to make tacos for dragons, keep the toppings mild. Tomatoes, lettuce, what's this right here? Cheese. Who puts cheese on their tacos? Anyone?
I love cheese. When I gave the kids the opportunity to choose a book, all of the 3 classes that I read to, all 4th and 5th graders, chose A Tale Dark and Grim, which is a version of the Brothers Grimm fairy tales, and it's super funny and really engaging, and I forgot how much I love to read to kids. Then he said, "Your father asked me not to show you that room, Your Highness. He feared it might cost you your life."
Everyone count now. Say it out loud.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
He screamed, "Here's the end of that terrible town, full of zooks who eat bread with the butter side down."
So it was interesting because this Butter Battle book is kind of an allusion to nuclear armament. And so the kids were actually bringing up Ukraine and Russia and nuclear weapons more than I expected them to know. So they get it already. I'm looking forward to seeing them as high school students who are just incredible.
Happy birthday, Dr. Seuss!
The makes and the misses.
No! No!
Still added up to a great get-together of former Major League ball players and sponsors galore that stepped up to this plate to combat child predators. The annual Kindervision The Greatest Save returned to the Huntington Club, formerly Seacliff Country Club, for another round of golf, hospitality.
Would you like a water bottle? Okay.
Gotta love those live auction and silent auction items.
We have about 50 items with the memorabilia. We have a whole table over here that's also all memorabilia too.
Topping it off with the popular question and answer after dinner.
Not your home field, the best stadium you played in, and the place you regretted to go on the road to, and why.
But Candlestick Park, which was, when you have to wear a ski parka to go to the game in the summer.
The major leaguers are happy to help.
Well, gosh, I think it's about 4 now. The Garvey family looks forward to it. I brought my son Ryan several times, and it's just a great collaboration between the city, the charity, and people who really care about helping children.
Good cause. I think it's great, to play in this kind of tournaments. I think it's good for kids,
You know what? I play every 20 hours, buddy. I play my member here until spring training. I took a scouting job with the Oakland A's, and I play every day, so it's okay. Nobody's ever said nice swing to me. They've said nice shot.
Well, it's just an amazing tournament, probably one of the best tournaments I've ever had. It's kind of like a reunion for baseball players. Raleigh does a great job bringing people up here for a great cause, and Huntington Beach has always done a great job supporting this down here, and it's just always been fun. One of my favorite tournaments, and very enjoyable to come down here.
But how's the golf game?
Golf game, it's the characters you play with. We come here just to have fun and do whatever we can. So my characters are really good today. We're playing very well.
But this year took on a more somber tone, as Kindervision's founder, Doug Sebastian, passed away just prior to the fundraiser. In his memory, Doug Sebastian, the Kindervision board, its supporters, and baseball greats continue to protect the children with school curriculum and public outreach. And that is the greatest save of all.
We celebrate it, we're celebrating his life. Remember, the legacy is Kindervision, and we cannot let that die. Thank you.
For Surf City Highlights, this is Matt Liffring.
this is part of a global conflict. A conflict that stretches from India all the way to Louisiana. And today I have with me Monsieur le Marquis de Lafayette, representing France, and I have Don Bernardo de Galvez, the Spanish governor of Louisiana and Cuba. Together we represent many of the different peoples who are affected and affected the war.
One of the things that surprises me is not every historian knows everything. So each of these living historians, like our Don Bernardo de Galvez, he knows so much about Spain's influence in the war. I had no idea that Californians, Spanish Californios, raised 8,000 pieces of silver to be given to the Spanish government to help the American cause and to help the war against Britain. That's fascinating to me. I wouldn't have known that because that's not my particular area of specialty. There are people that talk about 18th century gardening. There are people that talk about how to make hot chocolate in the 18th century. There's so many different passions here, and it's amazing to see them all come together in Huntington Beach Central Park.
There are many aspects of George Washington's personality I would say intrigue me. Most of all, though, it is how his character changed over the years. He started out as somewhat of a young man who was ambitious and had some ego, to a man who had very much so determined that he wished to be of service, and giving up, actually, if you look at it, more than 16 years of his life just to the service of the cause of America.
So often, the British would advance to within 50 yards, fire a single volley, and then charge with the bayonet. Very early on in the war, most American soldiers did not have bayonets, and so it was a losing proposition for us, and most militias would run away at the sight of a bayonet charge.
Each battle is a scenario, so we have a plan that happens during the day. It's a little bit of a chess game, though, and it's a little bit of a play. So we know how it should end up. The officers will end up managing the men as we move down the field, and there'll be a general plan, but we won't always know what happens. But hopefully we know who should win by the end of the day.
Up a double, march. Turn around and back the other way. Happy feet. Bring it down. And cross over. And happy feet. Forward tight. Let it go. Cross back.